Hey YouTube! Today we want to have a closer look on the game mechanics of the Monkey Island 3 version for tip-toi because I got some requests for it. I'm going to do this one in English even though the original video where I'm showing how the mechanics is working practically, it's in German, but it has English subtitles because they were requested as well. So this time we do them in English so I don't have to do the subtitles again because that's work I really don't like. The game itself, if you didn't see this, hold on, just works like the original one. It has all the original sounds in it, uses the item mechanics by having all the items face down on the table. And once you grab an item or use an item, the game tells you which number you have to turn around. Just click it and then you got it in your inventory. Have a quick look again on this in case you didn't see that. As it's the first chapter of the game, so it has all the actions in it that's which are there in the first chapter of the game, basically. The first three images, if you have a look at the images here, for example this one, or the first images are these here. Let me open them quickly. Okay, that's the first image where you can load a saved game. I didn't really implement that yet, but there was an idea I had for 4-digit code where you can jump to various game positions because I don't have the ability to really save a game state to the tip-toi. You start the game, you go through the intro, which is the first three pictures, and then you end up on these two pictures here where there's Wally in this small room with the cannon and you have to solve some puzzles in it. I first print the pictures itself and then overlay it later on with the black and white laser printer with the oid-codes over the various parts of the image. Like there's the oid-code here right above Wally, then the cannon, then this rope here, the cannonballs, everything you can interact with in the original game as well. Okay, now let's jump to the game logic itself. It's the file I created here. First deals with the symbols. The symbols on the menu bar, which I'm going to show you right here quickly, how it looks like. If you know the original game, it's pretty much the same. It has this hand symbol here, this skull symbol, and the parrot for grabbing, punching, looking at, and here talking, bite, and everything like that. So basically it checks if there's always this check if the game is paused, because you can pause it on every single OID. You got this check. Then when you click the hand symbol, for example, it checks first if the mouth symbol is already set. If it's already set, means if you click the mouth symbol and then click on the hand symbol, that's what this check is for. Then it sets the mouth symbol back to 0 if it's 1, and then sets the hand to 1. If the eye has already been touched before, set it to 0 as well, and then set the hand symbol 1. If none of those two are the case, then check if you are above page 3, so you cannot use this symbol during the intro, and set the hand symbol to 1. So you always end up with the hand symbol set to 1 afterwards. Same logic with the eye symbol and the mouth symbol here as well. Then you have the several pages, the intro pages. They're pretty simple. Just when you click the first page, it sets asks if the page is 0 because it has been 0 before. Then set it to 1. Play the text for this first image. I can quickly show you what this is. What is it? P12.
Logbuch des Captains, Guybrush Threepwood.
So that's the first part of the intro. And then afterwards you play the, how is it called? Build change, which is basically what that's going to tell you. Build change to.
Wechsle jetzt zum Bild Nummer 2.
So it tells you to change to picture number 2. After that, set the page variable to 1 and play this sound. Afterwards, you have the page set to 1. So on the next page, it asks you if it's set to 1. If yes, play the next intro sound. Afterwards, set it to 2 and tell the listener to change the side again. and like that. And after this, after the intro, we end up on page 4, which is the first page we can interact with something. So here's basically all the OIDs that are overlaid on this particular image. I still got it here? Yeah, here we are. So here, this is, for example, 1008. Let me minimize this a little bit here. Okay. So here, these comments tell me what those OIDs are good for. So in this case, the OID 10008 is for the door on pages 4 and 5. So it's the same OID overlaid on the door on both of the pages. And you can interact with this door with, of course, the menu bar. So it checks, first it checks if you're on the correct side, if the side variable is set to the side you're actually on. Then it checks if the I variable is set. If it is set it back to 0. So it means if you click the I and then click on the door, it means have a look at the door. Then okay, set it to 0 again and play the sound nice door. And that's what it actually plays in the
Schöne Tür.
Schöne Tür, nice door. Okay, and that's when you interact with the hand symbol, with the mouth symbol. It's always the original in-game sounds. I got them, by the way, not from extracting them from the original game files, but I rather found someone who made a Let's Play from Monkey Island 3, and he literally tried out everything. So he used every single symbol on every single item on everything. So I was able to grab everything out of there, which saved me a lot of time. After this, the original game tells you that you originally got this helium balloons in your inventory. So you get told during the intro that you got the helium balloons and you have to grab them. There's some sort of OID for this as well. Well, doesn't really matter. So you get the helium balloons from the start right away. So this variable will be set to 1 when you click it. Like you take your inventory, click the helium balloon, it sets this particular variable to 1. Afterwards, it sets it to 0 again, and then plays the sound something like no or whatever. So what this basically does is, if you want to use something with something else, like you click the helium balloon, click afterwards the door, and then it tells you, oh no, that doesn't work, or some other no sound for something that just doesn't work. Okay, so basically, with this door on pages 4 and 5, you can't do anything. That's why it almost all the time tells you with whatever item you try to use it, or whatever you want to do with it. It tells you just, I can play those sounds quickly. Check where I got them. Audio, here it is, and it plays either this one,
Nein.
or it plays
Nein.
Okay, that's the no sounds. And every time you can't do anything with a certain item or something, it just says no or whatever. So let's switch to something more interesting. For example, what we got here? The cannon. This is the rope. We can have a look at that quickly as well. If we use the knife or the machete or whatever it's called with this particular rope here, so we click the item, which is in this case here the knife. When we click it, the knife is set to 1. If it is set to 1, it checks if the rope has already been cut through. If this is not the case, set the variable for the knife to 0 again. Set the variable for the already cut through rope to 1. So this variable means through. It checks if it has already been cut through. And then play the sound, I cut the rope, or whatever it says. If it has already been cut through, then we end up in this line here, where it sets the knife back to 0 as well, and play the sound, this one has already been cut through. Okay, let's switch to something we can actually grab, we can actually take. Like, for example, this plastic hook here. We can grab this item. So we want to make sure if several things. First, if we grab this item, we want to make sure that it ends up in our inventory. If we already took it before, we want to make sure we cannot grab it again. And we want to make sure that we can combine this item with something else. In this case, it's the loading stick over here. And if we combine them, we want to make sure we cannot take it again as well. Okay, how is this implemented? Let's say we click the hand symbol first, like this one here. We click the hand, we'll play a click sound. We click the hook, which is this hook here basically differs from the actual item of the hook. The hook item itself is this one here, down there. It has this OID here, but this OID over there is for the hook on the ground. So we click the hand symbol and click the hook on the ground. First checks if the plastic hook, which is the actual item, you already got. If it's set to 0, so you don't have it yet. If you have it or already grabbed it before, it will tell you you already took this one. Plastic hook is set to 1. If it's not, and you click the hand symbol before, it will set a variable for the actual process of taking an item to 1. So this variable is called hook take. It's set to 1, and it pauses the game. This is where the pause status of the game comes into play. Now it tells you take item number 5, for example, because all the items are face down on the table. So that player actually only sees the number. So right now it tells you grab the item number 3 or 4, I can't remember what exactly it is. Turn it over and click it. So the game is paused at that moment, so you cannot do anything else, because for every other action it requires the game not to be paused. So right now we pause it and set the variable for hook take to 1. Now it tells you take item number 4, turn it over and click it, which ends up here. This is the actual OID for the item itself. So you have it in your hand and you click it, and then it checks if the variable of hook taking is set to 1, and if the game is paused, set the pause status to 0 again, set the hook taking variable to 0 again, and set the plastic hook variable, which is the actual variable for the item, to 1. So this means you got the item. And play a sound, you put the plastic hook in your inventory. If you try to just click it without the game telling you to take it, first of all, you're not in the pause mode. And if you are in the pause mode, because you maybe were told to grab another item, it will check if the plastic hook variable is not equal to 1. So let's say it's 0, you didn't take it yet, and you just try to click it. What's missing here is the hook taking variable. So if you're not in the process of taking this particular hook, it will just tell you, please don't cheat, you are not supposed to grab this item. Okay. What we can do as well is we can combine this item with in this case, with this loading stick here. So let's say we click the hand symbol again, this one, we'll play a click sound. Then we click in our inventory the loading stick. We will end up here. The game is not paused. We click the loading stick, because if we already got it, we click the hand symbol before. Then we have a variable hand loading stick. This one is set to 1. Hand is set back to 0, and we play a click sound. So right now we click the hand and the loading stick. And when we now click the hook in our inventory, we will end up here. We click the hand loading stick, we click the loading stick with the hand symbol. So we have this hand loading stick variable to 1, set it back to 0, set the loading stick variable back to 0, because we now don't have it anymore. Set the plastic hook variable to 3. It's just, it has to differ from 0 or 1, so it's just a different, it's assigned, it gets another number assigned to it. And we end up with the combined product, which is the enter hook, I would translate it. And we go to the process of actually getting this enter hook. And we pause the game again, and we end up here where the game is paused. We're in the process of getting the new item. We set the pause status back to 0, set the process of taking this new item back to 0, and set the new item we got back to 1, and play a sound. This sound tells the user to put away the plastic hook, put away the loading stick, grab the new item that you combined, and put it in your inventory. So now we got this new item, the enter hook, and we, with getting this, we set the plastic hook to 0, and we set the loading stick to 3 and the loading stick to 0. So now we're in a status where we combined two items, but we already took the plastic hook before. So if we are still on this page, and let's say we combine those items, we don't have the plastic hook anymore, but we don't want the player to be able to grab this plastic hook again. So if we now click this plastic hook on the ground, we will end up here. We set plastic hook to 3. So all of these are not the case, because here it checks if it's 0. It is not. Is it 1? It is not. So we will end up here. And this can only be the case when we already combined it. So we got this enter hook item already. It's set to 1. And then it plays the sound. You already got this item. So we cannot take it anymore, even though we don't own it anymore. When we try to click the hand symbol and click the actual item, the plastic hook, which is here, even though we don't have it anymore, because we set it to 3 before, plastic hook, we will end up basically here. So it's not set to 1 anymore. It's not equal to 1, the plastic hook variable. So it will tell the player, please don't cheat. So with this, we made sure that even though we don't have this item anymore, because we combined it with something else and got a new item, we still cannot take it again or use it again, or anything else. And on all other OIDs, for the window, for the cannonballs, for every single OID, we already have to make sure that we can interact with the different symbols with it. Like we click the hand or the eye and click on the window. Or we click the some item first. We use the hand symbol, click an item, like let's say the loading stick. So when we do this, click the hand, click the loading stick, there's this variable hand loading stick. This will be 1 in this case, set back to 0, and play the particular sound necessary for this action. So on every single OID, you can see it here. It's basically, most of the time, it's just copied because it's the same. If we try to use the hand loading stick with the window, or with the cannonballs, or with the rope, nothing will happen, and it will just play the sound no. So there's duplicated contents in here. It looks much, but most of it is just copied out, and we just have to make sure that we change the sounds to be played, or the actions for the actual possible actions we can do in the different pictures. So the item mechanic basically works like this. If you got an item, use it with your hand symbol. Click the hand first. We'll always play those click sounds to get a confirmation that you clicked it. Click the hand sound, click an item, say the hook here, You click it with the hand symbol. So there's a new variable, hand plastic hook, set to 1. Play the click sound again. So now you're in the status of actually having this item in your hand, and you're able to use it with something else. For example, if you get the loading stick, you set it, click the hand, click the loading stick, you have the hand loading stick variable to 1, and you can then use it with the cannon. Where is the cannon? You will end up here, hand loading stick set to 1, set it back to 0, and play the sound. The cannon is already loaded and ready to shoot. Of course, there is, for example, here, this page 6. It's this one here. You can click the cannon on this image as well, where you have to shoot the different boats here. So there's another OID for the cannon on this image, and you just have to use it with your hand. It sets the hand cannon variable to 1, and afterwards you click the various boats. It checks if this boat has already been shot or not, and if not, then you hit it, and so on. So you can basically, there's an OID code all over this image, so you can click the cannon and shoot everywhere in the water or whatever. If you click the cannon with the hand symbol, then the boat, it will shoot the boat down, and this one, yeah, you will end up with 3 remaining, and you have to shut down all the boats to get back to the other image. I can show you this is the folder of the game sounds, where you can see that for every different symbol or every different OID, like I symbol plus the cannon ends up in this sound.
Sie ist bereits geladen und schussbereit.
I with the rope, or I with Wally, and all files are called in a way that I can always know what they were good for. This is the picture changing sounds, the item sounds,
Sie sind sehr festlich.
and the click sound. I like this one. And yeah, that's pretty much it. It looks as if it was quite an amount of content, but all in all, it's pretty simple. Pretty much the same for every item, except for the actions you can actually take. And like that, you can implement almost, I would say, all the aspects of the game pretty easily. And you end up with an Monkey Island, an analog Monkey Island playable point-and-click adventure for TipToi. So if you got any additional ideas, let me know what you think about it. If you maybe realized another project similar to this, I'd appreciate some information, some comments, and please make sure to subscribe, and see you next time.